over to AWAG's because I think we go over to AWAG's today about 5 o'clock. There's going to be lots of good food for us. So, hey, guys, what's going on? Happy 4th of July. It's Caliber Corner episode number 143. Just wanted to let everybody know that AWAG is having a huge barbecue today. So you're all welcome to stop by. Just kidding.
No, I was going to say, come on over.
Come on over, man.
Bring your guns, too.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe not a smart idea in New Jersey. Maybe.
I won't tell.
I won't tell. Oh man, it'll just blend in with the fireworks going off. So guys, we're gonna do just a 1 hour chat today. I got a lot of stuff going on today. So first things first, shout out to my grandma. Happy birthday, Grandma. She is 82 years old today. Her birthday is on July 4th, and I've already got the AKV packed up. We're gonna see if we can get her to take a few shots with it, maybe bump fire it a little bit. Who knows? And so, Grandma, happy birthday to you. Man, we've already got a lot of people watching right now. Today's topic is the 1911. It's America's gun. It's been kicking ass for 119 years. It's been in 23 wars and skirmishes. And if you think anything otherwise than the 1911, you are wrong. But before we get into that argument, make recommendations for 1911s, let's let the panel introduce themselves. We're going to start off with Squibload. Squib, what do you know? What's going down, brother?
Happy Independence Day, everybody.
Happy Independence Day to you too, man. You good?
Good enough.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a heavy coffee day today, man. I'll tell you what. So we're just going
to... No coffee for me today.
No coffee? Oh, man.
Yeah. So that gives you a good idea where I'm at.
Okay, man. I'll tell you what, I'm on my second cup, and that first cup was rough this morning, dude. So when we're going around the horn and you guys are doing your intros, there's a request from the chat already. What's everybody going to make today for chow? So, Squib, what are you guys cooking today?
Hot dog sandwiches.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Okay, let's move on over to Kingpin. Kingpin, how you doing today, man? Are you awake? Are you ready to rock and roll or what?
Oh, yeah, man. Definitely ready. Caliber Corner's the best way to start your morning.
There you go. I wish I could do this every day. I should be doing this daily, man. And Kingpin, I have you to thank or to blame for this beautiful little piece sitting behind me over here. Picked up my Ruger SR 1911 after watching Kingpin's video. And I had owned a 1911 before, just a Rock Island. But, man, I'll tell you what, this is where it's at. So, all right, Kingpin, are you going to cook anything special today? You got any traditions, anything you're going to do? You going to do some burgers, some steaks? What's on the menu today?
No, my friends are down in Ocean City, unfortunately, Ocean City, Maryland, and I'll probably just hang out with my parents and sit right where I'm at today. So there might be some hot dog or something like that here and there, but for the most part, it's just going to be pretty mundane.
Cool. All right, man. Sounds good. Well, thanks for being here. You've been with us for a long time, dude. I appreciate it. All right. AWAG, what's going on, man? How you doing? Are you good?
I'm doing just fine.
All right. So AWAG, what's on the menu for today? Since you already said people can come over for the barbecue today, what's going down?
We got some burgers. We got some. What else we got? We got some fries going on. We got some hot dogs. We got homegrown, organic,
sustainably harvested, non-GMO. Free range. What? Lemonade.
Yeah, free range lemonade. Make sure our lemons run free so that they get nice and strong.
Made with the finest organic water.
Yeah. No, we got some boneless water.
Boneless water going on, mechanically separated.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And so if you guys want to know the address for AWAG's party, you just got to email to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com and just ask for the barbecue address, and AWAG will email that back to you so you guys know where to go.
All right.
Yeah. All right. And Defense Dad, how you doing, man? How's it going? How are things today? How's everything going in Lincoln?
Oh, probably about the same as you.
Yeah, because we're like 5 miles away. So, all right. So the channel, how's things going for the channel? You got any new content coming up? You're putting all kinds of great videos out there.
Yeah, I put up just a quick video. The kiddo wanted to sing "Happy Birthday" to the nation the other day, so we filmed that.
Yeah.
And I got a few toys coming up. I got a scope I got to get mounted up and sighted in, and some other things. But other than that, just kind of living life.
Have you put up the AR video yet? I don't want to mention anything if it hasn't gone up on YouTube yet. Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, it's been up for a few days now.
So if you guys want to, it seems like there's not a lot of good gun deals out there right now because prices are high, but check out Defense Dad's channel. He's got a very cool video where he shows you a $500 AR build that he did. good stuff. It's nice components. Do check it out. He just gives you a nice run through of all the different parts that he used to build it. And it's good. It's a good introduction video for somebody who's kind of curious about the world of the AR platform. And, you keep the terms simple. You explain, what you paid for everything and some of the caveats you ran into. So that's an awesome video. I want you guys to go check it out. And if you guys want to put a link to that video, or Defense Dad, if you want to put a link to it in the chat, if you can do that, go right ahead. But do check it out. So, and Defense Dad, what's on the menu for today, man? What you got cooking?
Well, I have to work, man. It's a life of retail. We're probably ordering pizza or something.
Yeah, no, I know. Trust me. I had my share, man, working through holidays, Easter, Thanksgiving, freaking Christmas Eve, New Year's Day. Don't remember it. Oh my God. So, all right.
I wish it was going to be at my folks' house though, because my mom would rather have people home for the 4th of July than Christmas. So they're doing up ribeyes and everything for the whole thing.
Dude, they better put one back for you. If you can get me one too, I'll be happy to swing by and pick it up, and I'll drop off that Travis P. Levin sticker. We'll just do an exchange. I'll do a ribeye sandwich for a sticker if that sounds good.
Well, they're 150 miles away, so probably not going to happen.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So moving on, Pat Hirsch is with us, another fellow Nebraskan. Pat, what's on the menu for today, man? What are you guys cooking up?
Just wanted to say happy birthday, America.
Yeah.
First of all, and actually got a barbecue lunch going on just down the road from me at my uncle's place. Epic. And I got to wire up some fireworks this afternoon. And
wire up? Holy crap, dude!
Yeah, we get it. We take it pretty seriously down here on the river bottom, and me and my uncle boys put on a great big fireworks show. So that's what's going on today.
So are you guys doing?
Wait a second. Wire up fireworks?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Okay, Pat. The next sound you hear will be a knocking on your door. Don't worry, it's me.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
In Nebraska, we get a pretty good selection of fire. We get basically everything short of what M80s and bottle rockets, and they even allow just the rockets that you sit down and light. They finally legalized those in Nebraska. So we got a pretty good spread of fireworks that you can light in almost every town except maybe some of the metro areas. I don't think they allow fireworks, or if they do, they're very limited menus. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's always a fun time, especially when you get into those 4 and 5 inch mortars.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, Pat, are you guys doing any sweet corn today? You got to do sweet corn. That's the 4th of July.
Oh yeah, we're roasted. We're putting the
even if it's not the whole thing. Is our Nebraska corn ready yet, or are we a little bit late this season because it was such a cold spring?
Everything's a little behind this year. Most of it's coming out of Georgia and the southern states right now. So
usually I purchased sweet corn off trucks in Nebraska from local suppliers, and sweet corn, if you guys are not done, just corn on the cob is a huge thing here in Nebraska, man. Lots of salt, lots of pepper, real butter, just freaking amazing stuff. So, all right. Well, Pat, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, it's great to be on today, and I just wanted to wish everybody a happy 4th of July, and hopefully I don't lose signal today because the internet's been kind of flaky the last couple of days.
Sounds good, man. It sounds really good. Sounds awesome.
All right, awesome.
All right, and last but not least, joining in here at the last second, we got the original tactical rooster himself, Gizzard Gary. Gizzard Gary, what do you know, brother? How's it going, man?
Man, I don't know too much, but I figured I'd turn on this show and I would learn all kinds of stuff, man. That's why we're here, to learn from each other, man.
You know it. Now, Gary, I don't know if you're a 1911 guy, but I think after today's chat, this might be an expensive one for some people. They might have to go out and buy one. So
I have one, but yeah, you could always get another.
Oh, exactly. There's always a good excuse to get one. So, oh man, excellent. And again, happy birthday to America. Happy Independence Day, America. It's the 4th of July. So we're just going to talk about a very American gun. We're talking about the 1911 today. But before we do that, I just want to remind everybody that today's episode is sponsored by SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska, where you can get 1911s. Guys, give Stan a call. Take the exit to Lexington, Nebraska, off Interstate 80. SS Pawn's just off to the right. You can't miss it. Big sign that says Pawn Shop. Go in there, say hello to Stan, check out the firearms, and SS Pawn will take care of your firearms needs. So there we go. Oh man, so where do we even start talking about the 1911? I would just like you guys to share with me if you own a 1911 or had any experiences with them, like which ones you've had some real good luck with, or what are some of your favorites, or maybe there's any models in particular you're researching. Let's just get it out there and just let people know that might be in the market for a 1911 or somebody looking for another 1911. What's good? What have you guys used? Okay. Just anybody start up, man. Go right ahead.
Mike Ben has a what is it? A Kimber. It's like a commander's model. It's like the full size grip, but it's a shorter barrel.
Yeah,
I forget how short the barrel is, but I'm gonna make quite a couple people angry at this. Is I don't particularly like it, but there is a caveat. I did shoot a Sig Scorpion, which is their FDE model with the cool like it almost looks like snake scale grip on it.
Oh yeah, and 6-hour 1911s. Yeah.
And it had a specially made compensator for it. Man, that thing was awesome. I'm not particularly a fan of the 45 ACP, but in that platform, how that gun was set up, it was like the slickest gun I've ever shot.
Well, for somebody who's new to 1911s, you might not realize it, but you can get them chambered at 9mm, 38 Super, 10mm, 45. And there's certain advantages to going with one particular caliber over another. I know a lot of people might think that a 9mm 1911 is pointless. It's really not. I mean, if you love the 1911 platform, if you want to save a little money and just burn through your 9mm, and you can always have a 45, obviously. But there's a lot of reasons, or even a 10mm if you want something with a little more takedown power, some hunting possibilities. So, yeah. There's a lot of different options for people that are out there. So, Kingpin, what about you? What kind of experiences do you have with the 1911?
Well, I've always wanted a 1911 because it's a 1911, and my friend here on YouTube, Jesse B Outdoors, had the Ruger 1911, and he had a set of blue lock grips on it. And the very first day I saw that, I left a comment and told him, I'm stealing your gun. I had every intention of copying him completely. And then when I actually went out and got the Ruger 1911, Jason Stewart sent me some nice wood grips. So I put them on instead. And obviously it's 45 ACP. 9mm 1911s are fake news, just by the way. And then my second 1911 is the Kimber Desert Warrior. And I mean, they're nice and heavy guns, and obviously they spit out a big fat round, but they're just a pleasure to shoot. I really love it, and taking it apart is more of an adventure. Cleaning it's a little bit more of an adventure. I know it's more work, but as you start taking the gun apart, you start seeing how it functions a lot more than just your basics. Pop out the pin and take the slide off guns. Your basic striker fire guns. If you don't have a 1911, you got to get one. And when you get one and you don't like it, sell it to me.
Exactly. There you go. That's the way to do it. And when you look at them, myself being a firearms channel, I've kind of run the gamut of 1911s on here that I've tested and taken apart and cleaned. And you start to see the differences in the fit and finish, especially once you get that slide off, the machining that's done to it, the fitting that gets done to it. Believe it or not, guys, there is a difference between a $3,500 1911 and a $350 1911. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a $350 1911, but when you take them apart and you really look at them and shoot them, there is a difference, and there's reasons why 1911s can cost whatever you want to spend, right? I mean, you can spend $3,000-$4,000 or whatever. You can get the the Meteorite grip ones that are out there too. So, all right, Squibload, your experiences with the 1911, man. What do you have? What do you shoot? What works for you?
Come back to me.
Okay. All right. Defense Dad, do you have any experience shooting 1911 yet, or have you had a chance? Have you picked one up yet?
I don't own one, but I've shot quite a few over the years, and they're just a pleasure to shoot. There's no other way to put it. I'll have one. I will probably look for more of a 2011 variation, because if I get it, it's going to be a range gun, and I want more capacity. But
yeah.
I mean, it's hard to beat, and I am in agreement with Kingpin. If I'm going to have one, it's going to be a 45.
Yeah. Oh, I don't disagree. And part of the shooting experience with these 1911s is just depending on the model, like my SR 1911 is incredibly smooth. You would think that it's going to be just a tremendous amount of recoil, and it's going to be, it's going to flip in your hand because of all the reciprocating mass and the big 45 round. It's not. It's actually a very smooth shooting gun. And then all kind of depends on the recoil spring that the company uses. It kind of depends on the overall design, although the designs are very similar across the board. Pat, you're back. So while we got you, any experiences with the 1911? Do you own one, or is there one you could recommend? What's your preference? Pat's got kind of a weak signal there. So, Pat, we'll come back to you in just a minute, okay? Gizzard Gary, what's your 1911? What do you got?
I have a Taurus PT 1911. And
All right.
I love that. I agree. They've got to be in 45. I prefer full size, although I would like to. I've never shot the smaller ones. I'd like to try it. Mm-hmm. But, man, every time I go into a gun store, I always got to look at the 1911s that are sitting there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's just, they're pretty. It's a classic design. I've looked at Rugers. Someday I'm going to own a Ruger. I'd really like to. I mean, any of them, if somebody'd give them to me, I'd gladly accept it and smile the entire time, you know. But I think everybody ought to have one. I love shooting a 45 round. It's just classic Americana.
You know, and some people complain about the cost of the 45 ACP round, but I'm going to show you. We'll go over to ammo so you can just look up the cost of ammo and also share with you some of my some of the different ammo that I've shot before and the experiences I've had with it. It doesn't have to be an expensive shooting experience. It's not like it's a buck a pull every time you pull the trigger. You can actually get some really good deals on ammo, especially now with 45. It's funny. A lot of times if you go into your stores, all the handgun ammo is going to be wiped out because of panic buying, except the 45 ACP. That's been consistently on the shelf through, I don't know how many ammo crises that I've been through in the last like 10 years. So 44 mag, 10 millimeter, 45 ACP is generally on the shelf at most of your big box gun stores and stuff like that. I don't know about the mom and pop places because they might get hit hard because everybody goes to the gun store first. But it's just amazing that you can generally find 45 ACP. You know, it's no matter where you go.
If you... Yep. It's kind of contradictory to what I said earlier about the 9 millimeter. My friend has got the Browning in 380. Okay. I did a video on it like maybe a year ago. Yeah. It is a fantastic gun. I mean, it's beautiful. It's sleek. It shoots really well, but it's expensive for a tiny gun. Yeah. If you're looking for a smaller 1911 and you still have the funds to spend, you could go with something like that. Obviously, you know, that's for needs. If you have somebody with a, you know, recoil sensitive or a smaller hand grip or whatever, you can do that. But warning, you're not going to spend a whole lot less. The Browning's still an expensive gun, especially for as small as it is. But yeah, that was just an idea for anybody.
Now, I just want to get this out because it could become like a point of controversy. So, Kingpin, you have a Kimber, and for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because Kimbers used to be really expensive. Because right now, I mean, Kimbers, I've seen a lot of Kimbers in the $600 to $700 range. I've seen them for $500 to $600 used. Do you understand what all the hate is about the Kimber pistols? You hear people saying, "Oh, they use MIM parts." My God, people, do you know how much MIM is used in the firearms industry? Ruger uses MIM parts all the time. I mean, unless you've consistently had bad luck with Kimbers, I don't really see a reason not to buy one. I mean, there's a lot of other options out there that might be very similarly laid out for less money. But Kingpin, how's your experience been with the Kimber? Was it fussy for the first 500 rounds? Was it any problems at all? I've personally never fired a Kimber. I've seen them. I've handled them. They look fine. Are they worth the money that they demand for them or not? What do you think?
Well, yeah, obviously they're expensive, and in my opinion, a lot of people boo-hoo the Kimber because of the price. Mm-hmm. I personally have never got a bad gun yet. Every gun that I've got or been able to use or shoot or whatever has always worked fine for me. I haven't had a gun like some people, you know, Obnoxious, for example. You know, he has some guns and he does his videos and there's lots of malfunctions. I haven't had to deal with that yet. The only thing I would say the problem with the Kimber 1911 that I have is the finish on it is really slick. So, and I talked about it in the video that I did. When you grab the slide, if you don't got a nice position on the serrations and a little bit of a firm grip, your fingers are going to slide off it. That's the one thing. And now the Ruger doesn't have that issue, not nearly as bad. I mean, right now I'm playing with them, but they're oiled up and my hands are dirty. But that's the one thing that I would say was negative about the Kimber was it's really slippery. Now the grips are grippy as can be. You got a good, nice grip on it. The gun feels good in your hand. But when you're racking the slide, it's like somebody put butter on it while you're trying to rack it. Other than that, I haven't had a malfunction. I haven't had any issues. The sights are straight. Uh, I got mine used, so I did save a little bit of money compared to buying it new. But I think that's the biggest issue is when people buy a gun and they spend a lot for it and they happen to get a lemon or one that's almost a lemon and it takes a little bit of breaking in, then they're looking at, wow, I just spent, a couple $100 on a gun and the daggone thing doesn't work that great.
Mhm.
So I think that's the issue that a lot of people have with Kimbers. I've fired tons of different Kimbers because a friend of mine, the guy who got this from, collects Kimber. So half of his gun collection is Kimber. And I've never had an issue with any of them.
So here's the thing that I want to say. You might, and again, if you're new to the 1911 world, almost every instruction manual I've seen for the 1911s that I've taken apart and cleaned and fired on the channel, including my Ruger included, I think they talk about a 200 round break-in period where they say that, we can't guarantee because of the tight tolerances, because you've got so much metal on metal, because you've got such a precise fit, anything in those initial 200, 300 rounds could cause a little bit of a hiccup that could prevent, say, a failure to feed or a failure to eject. If the gun consistently has problems and you've gone past 200 rounds, then I would definitely say send it in and let them test it and figure out what's going on. But when you look at the tolerances that these are built to, there's just a lot of metal on metal. And I think that's something that a lot of people aren't used to especially if they're coming from the polymer gun world where the gun just fires right out of the box. And so there can be a break-in period. Now, I can say I have fired many different types of ammo through my SR 1911, and I'm going to show some of them off to you guys today. And I have not had any problems at all. I fired aluminum case ammo, brass ammo. I have not fired steel case through it, although that's some of the cheapest 45 out on the market today. I fired different hollow points through it. I fired copper ammunition, copper bullet ammo. Just looking in the box right now, and I have yet to have any problems with it. And I have different results with accuracy too. If you check out my SR 1911 video, I think I test 4 different kinds of ammo just at like 7 yards, just to show you the basics of what happens. And I was surprised at the differences in the accuracy, but I haven't had any problems with mine. I mean, I would push for the SR 1911 if you're looking for one and say your budget goes up to about $700. I'd recommend it if you can pick one up used. They do have lifetime guarantees on them. Now, one complaint I have about the SR 1911, and this was actually fixed by a YouTube fan of mine, a video viewer. There's no front serrations or ribbing at all on the front of the pistol grip. It's smooth. So if you've got sweaty hands or you're going to run this thing through a course, it's probably not going to have the best purchase up on the front of the grip. I wish I could handle it and show it to you, but I'm not going to. I do have a viewer that sent me the Wilson Combat little stainless checkered grip piece that you put on the front. You just take off your grip panels, you put the grip piece on and you bolt it down, and it's been fine. I've used it through hundreds and hundreds of rounds. It's on it right now. And I'm going to admit, it looks a little tacky because you've put something on your gun, but it is hidden well underneath the grip handles. And I think it's like a $15 part. It's the only thing Wilson Combat I can afford, which was kind of nice because, I mean, I had somebody send it to me, and it does really bite down on the front of your hand. So that gun does not move. So if you've got a slick front 1911 and it's driving you nuts, get that little grip piece on the front there, and it does help out. So Kingpin, do you notice that at all about the grip? You might have noticed it, but yeah,
definitely. It's like I was saying, comparing it to the Kimber, the finish on them, because they're the gloss finish, does have a little bit of slipperiness to it. And you're right, the front where the pads of your fingers land right under the trigger well, if it's a hot day or you're shooting competition, that's gonna get sweaty right there, and that's gonna be a slippery spot. So if you're concerned about that, do like Travis said, and you could put like some skateboard grip tape or something there, or whatever you want to do. I don't know if you want to mess the finish up on your gun, but that could be an issue right there. I haven't had that issue because mine's just a range gun, and I can't rapid fire at my range, so I haven't had to worry about that yet. I do get a lot of flack from time to time. I'm the guy who says, you go to the gun store, you buy the gun, you take it to the range, open the box, put ammo in it, and fire it. And this 1911, the Ruger 1911, before I cleaned it the first time, I probably put about 300 rounds through it right out of the box and never had any malfunctions or anything. And yeah, you can see right there on the one you're showing, mine doesn't have that stippling there. Mine's smooth on the front.
Yeah, that's the Wilson Combat checkering front strap that I put on mine. And it's not like a piece of aluminum foil. It's a very well machined steel part. I mean, it does a great job. And I mean, it is what it is. It's functional. Some people say, oh, that's too low. I mean, you can't put it up any higher because of the curve of the trigger guard into the pistol grip, but that's something I do recommend. If you've got a 1911 and it just doesn't fit the hands right, you've got a couple options. You can put some of those, put some more serious grip panels on the sides. I mean, the Ruger grips are fine, but now Kingpin, you said did you put those blue lockdown grips on the sides of your SR 1911?
No, I was going to. Because, like I said, Jesse B Outdoors put it on there. When I saw it, I fell in love with it. But I'm kind of a procrastinator when it comes to buying stuff online.
Okay.
And Jason Stewart, who's a very dear friend of mine, fantastic person, you should check out his channel. He sent me a pair of wood Ruger grips. So they look like like they got like a wood grain in them, like some furniture would have.
Sure.
And then it's got the Ruger label in the middle, and that's more important. Coming from Jason, they'll never leave my gun. They're going to be on there until this gun falls apart.
Cool. All right.
So, the thing about the Kimbers is back in the 90s and early 2000s, they were very expensive and they were higher quality. It was back before Freedom Group took over. And
they got bought out by Freedom Group?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. So the thing about Kimbers at the time, the price really wasn't, in my opinion, my observation, wasn't so much that they were just, it's like, oh, you got a Kimber? Oh, wow. You got a Cadillac there, right? But the thing is, they just weren't available. They didn't mass produce these things. I don't think they were hand fitting them, but it was like, even if you had the money for a Kimber, you couldn't find one. And that was part of the problem. And I think that's part of the reason they were able to get the price. And the excuse I got was, well, if we mass produce them, we'll lose quality. Well, along comes Freedom Group and they go, hey, why don't we make this an everyman's gun? And they mass produce them and they start, making a lot more varieties, and they get it out there where everybody can get it. You see them on sale at Bass Pro Shop. And all I've heard are complaints. Now, I don't know if the complaints are because it already had a reputation and now it's not $1,500, it's $500. But I think there's a lot of people out there that weren't into guns back when Kimber was one of the more premium brands.
Okay.
If you can get an older one from the 90s or early 2000s, you're definitely going to get a good gun. But I haven't had any experience with the newer ones other than you see tons of them at the store. And there just was a time where that just wasn't a thing.
Oh yeah. Our local Shields has usually got like a dozen of them used on, $500, $600. It really catches your attention. It's like, my God, why is there so many, used ones popping up on there? It just kind of blows my mind because like you said, I always remember being a $1,500 1911 or $1,200 1911. They were just one of those things that was, and like you said, maybe it's a quality thing. But now there's people in the chat that are saying that there's many people mentioning they have Kimbers and they've never had an issue with them at all. So I think it just depends on the gun. It depends on the break-in.
And you mentioned the warranty, and they've got a warranty. I wouldn't worry if you get one and you have a problem. I don't have any experience with their warranty department, but that's one of the first places I would go if I had a problem. The next thing is, depending on what it is, maybe I might change it out with an aftermarket part, especially if it would change a feature on there to make it more ergonomic for me or something. But I wouldn't just knock it. There's a lot of scuttlebutt that goes around, and you've got people that it's like, hey, I just got into this 2 weeks ago. Oh, this sucks. It's like, okay, have you shot anything else? Well, no, but I'm going to run my mouth on a blog or something. So I don't know. I would like to shoot a couple of the newer ones just to see what the big deal is. But back in the day, everybody wanted one of these things, and you just couldn't find them.
Now, again, not to fact check you, Squid, but somebody did mention out in the chat that they thought that Freedom Group did buy out Para. Because I see that Kimber is Para. Okay, Kimber did get bought out in the late 80s by somebody named Bruce Engel, but that doesn't mean that person didn't change the manufacturing philosophy either.
Oh, I thought it was Freedom Group that bought. Yeah, they were okay. Then they were bought out by them. But whatever. No, they changed. I don't know if they changed the quality, but as far as now, instead of only having like 4 models and nothing's ever in stock, and they don't care if they mass produce them, even though they're capable of it. Now they're mass producing them. You can get every color under the sun, every size, shape, gender, whatever. Para Ordnance is one that I've got experience with, and they were a great company, but Freedom Group ran them into the ground, and that kind of sucks because they offered a double stack 1911, which is like it's the best of both worlds. I loved that Para Ordnance P14 45 Limited. That was, you couldn't miss. You just couldn't miss with that thing. It was a tack driver. And, you know, with one in the chamber, you had 15 rounds. It could run plus P ammo. It had those Bomar sights, front and rear serrations. And some people would handle it and they go, oh, this is too wide. My hands are too small. Well, that's the problem I have with a lot of guns that people want to conceal carry. These things are tiny in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like they're going to fall out. They're snappy, all this stuff. That 45, it might have been heavy, but I mean, it just, you could one hand the thing all day long. I suppose if you had the right size hands, and it was not, for me, it was never an issue. I miss that gun.
Hey man, thanks to things like the internet, you can still find one if you look around a little bit. So
well, now Remington's got their 1911. It's using a lot of the similar stuff. I believe it's still got the Bomar sights and the I think it's got the front and rear serrations, but it's got a beveled magazine well, which is something the Para Limited didn't have. And they had a standard, you know, they had standard model Para Ordnance as well if you didn't want to spend the money for the limited, but for the extra money, it was absolutely worth it. So that Remington one is using a lot of the same stuff as the P14 45 Limited, and I've been kind of interested in that one. That one might be my next 1911.
And here's the thing: when it comes to Remington, you know, we do say, you know, any company gets bought out by Freedom Group, you're going to see quality diminish. You're going to see issues with the guns, just Remington's guns in general. But the Remington 1911s, the R1, the R series, that's probably why, if they inherited some of the lineage from that Para, I think that the R1 would be a smart investment for somebody looking for a good 1911 that wants to keep it below $700 for a while. There, you could get an R1 for like $499 if you just wanted their basic kind of GI model with stainless, and you can spend up to what, $1,000, $1,200 on some of the R1s. Yeah. So I mean, go ahead, Kingpin. Yeah.
Oh, but just Philo had mentioned it out there. I'm pretty sure it was Philo.
Oh.
Yeah, Philo had mentioned out there about the grip tape. Going with 3M grip tape. I do drywall work, so we got a mud pan, and it's just a piece of stainless steel metal, and it's slippery in your hands. So we put skateboard tape around the base of it so we can hold on to it.
Oh.
If you're going to use a grip tape of some sort, you might want to play with it before you put it on your gun, because those grips, the grit on skateboard grip tape or the 3M tape is extremely aggressive, like extremely aggressive. So when you put it on there, you might want to sand it just real quick just to knock some of the stippling off, as if not, it's going to tear your fingers up. It's a good idea. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying if you do it, be prepared for the very, very aggressive stippling on that grip tape.
Hey, Pat, we got you. It says we got a good signal. Any experiences with the 1911 that you have, Pat? Do you have one?
Unfortunately, I do not. I've always wanted to try to shoot one, but I've not had the pleasure yet. I don't even know anybody around here that even owns one. So always wanted to, but just haven't had the pleasure.
When I bring out the AKV, which is going to happen, I'm going to bring out the 1911, okay? Good day. Give you a chance to shoot, and I got plenty of ammo. We'll just have some fun with it. You can try it out. It will make you want to go buy one. That's the worst thing about it is once you handle it and look at it, it's like, oh, my God, this thing is sweet. So, oh, man. All right, so now, so you might let's talk price points here, okay, because you got a lot of options. Obviously, I'm not a big proponent of buying Turkish firearms. That's just a personal choice, okay? Although, unfortunately, I do sometimes because there's things like shotguns where, you know. But anyway, for $0 to $500, I don't know. Gary, did you get your Taurus 1911 under $500 or not? I don't know if you can get a Taurus 1911.
I did, but I bought it secondhand.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it was a used gun when I bought it, and it looked like it hadn't even been shot maybe more than about half a dozen times, and I got it for $419, and it was in beautiful condition. So I feel like I got a steal on that.
I would say if your budget is $500, look around because parts are plentiful for 1911s. There's a lot of parts interchangeability. So if it's got a problem with the safety lever or trigger, whatever, everything can be fixed. I mean, obviously there's some things you might not be comfortable doing, right? Inspect the firearm, make sure there's no cracks or breaks in it anywhere. Make sure the barrel's nice and clean, or it's got strong bores in it or strong grooves in it. So for 0 to 500, I did have a Rock Island Armory, just standard GI models. Remember, there's 3 different basic sizes that, well, I mean, anymore it doesn't matter, but kind of the old standard was you've got the government model 1911, which is going to have a 5-inch barrel. You've got the Commander, which is typically 4 to 4 1/4 inches with the government frame, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me on this if I'm wrong. And then you've also got the officer size 1911, which is like a 3 1/4 to 3.5 inch barrel. But I mean, anymore, there's different barrel lengths that are made in these things, but those are kind of the 3 different standards. So if you're like, oh, if somebody says, I want a Commander model, or I want an officer model, or a government model, that's what they're talking about. Now, there's also like range officer models and stuff like that too. There's a million different combinations of 1911s out there that you can get. But what I bought was just the standard GI government model from Rock Island Armory, and it's good. A few of the shortcomings about it is obviously just the standard beaver tail off the back, and that's something that you might want to look into, something with an extended beaver tail or the safety lever on the rear, that the beaver tail comes up and gives you some protection for the webbing of your hand. This doesn't have that. You've got just the machined in front sight. I don't believe it's adjustable at all, except for maybe the rear. I think they're dovetail. They could be wrong on the government model Rock Islands. And the stock grips that come with it have no aggression. There's no checkering in the grips at all. So you might want to look into replacing the grip panels. And so here's the thing. If you're already looking at dropping like $450, $400 into a Rock Island Armory, but you want to make it into something else, you might want to just spend a little bit more and get that stuff already installed on the gun. And Rock Island makes a whole slew. And I would prefer to see somebody go with Rock Island over TSOS. And the thing is, if you're looking for 1911s and you check the bottom barrel prices, TSOS, which is Turkish produced firearms, or Turkish company, they do make a 1911 that's like $349. I think I even saw them for like $299 if you wanted to go with the officer's model or the commander size model. It's very tempting to somebody who might only have $400, but do look around and see if you can get yourself a nice used 1911 before you decide to go with kind of that bottom of the barrel. If you read some of the reviews on the TSOS, I mean, you might have one, and no offense to anybody that has one, but they don't necessarily get the best reviews. There's a lot of complaints about them. Although they're copying the 1911, the government pattern, they're just still, the fit and finish is just not as good as it could be. So I'd say at a minimum, go for Rock Island. I don't know. What do you guys think? $0 to $500 recommendations out there?
Save up your money and get a good one. It's worth the wait. If you have to have a handgun right now, like your life just depends on it, then go get some small 9mm and just go that route. But if you're in the market for a 1911, unless you come across a used one for a really good deal, then it's worth it to wait and save up and get something a little bit nicer. The more you spend, probably the better you're going to get, or the better result you're going to have in the end, as far as saying this is really nice, this was worth it, it's one of those things where you can add stuff to it if you don't like it. So if you want to get, something that's really kind of bare bones, you could change that, or even have some smithing work done. But there's so many options out there for nicer ones that, I mean, you were saying, the 3,000 ones, there is a difference. I've never shot one of the $3,000 ones. But I know some of that stuff you're paying for hand fitting. You're paying a lot more for the labor, not really the material. So, I mean, there are some things that you could do yourself as far as buying the components and doing the labor if you have those sorts of skills. But that's a particular type that I would not recommend somebody just skimp on. But there's lots of people that their first thing about it is price. Everything else comes after that, and that's not always good sound advice on something that, whether it's going to save your life or be a range toy. I mean, I would save my money.
That's what I did. I took, I'm not kidding you, probably 6 months. And you guys remember last year, maybe me leading up to the 4th, I bought mine around June last year at this time. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I want to get a Sig. Maybe I want to go with the 10mm. Maybe I want to go with just get a Rock Island and then add the parts as I go on. Maybe get one of the TAC Ultra models. I mean, I literally just watched videos and read reviews, and maybe I want to get a Taurus. Maybe I want to do this or do that. And it was just, again, seeing David Kingpin's video, that helped out a lot. But then also looking at it, the price point, I was able to get my SR 1911 for about $630, and I think it was about $670 delivered after taxes and handling fees and FFL fee and all that stuff. And I guess some of the advantages when you step up past the $500 marker, you start to look at things like the skeletonized trigger, the different hammer. You're going to get the extended beaver tail. You're going to get maybe a better finish. You're going to go away from parkerized or anodized. You're going to get a nice brushed stainless finish, possibly Cerakote. And again, you can do those things yourself if you want to put the time and the money into your 1911. But just after seeing just the overall fit and finish of the SR 1911, that's really what sold me on it. Now, when you go beyond the $700 mark, exactly what Squib was talking about. I watched the video on Les Bear and how they produce their firearms, and they have, I don't even remember how many, 28 gunsmiths that assemble one gun. Each gunsmith focuses on just a small batch of parts, and they make those parts to a particular tolerance. And then when the gun is assembled, it's fired, it's disassembled and checked for wear, it's cleaned and then fired again. And if it doesn't run, I don't know what they said, 25 or 50 rounds with no issues at a certain accuracy level, the gun is taken apart and fixed until it gets to that point. So that's meticulous and crazy, but that's what you're getting when you buy the $3,000 1911. And I mean, just the tolerances, the fit, the finish. And then on the Les Bears, you can also buy an accuracy package that I don't remember what it was specifically. Maybe it's a 1-inch group guarantee at so many yards if you use the right ammo. And a lot of people can pull that off with their 1911 anyway. But the fact that they offer this accuracy package for a couple $100 more and they stand behind it, that's pretty incredible. And so when you go up, now I've never handled, somebody was asking about Nighthawk. Do you guys have any experience with Nighthawk before? I think I fired one once.
I've never shot anything by them, but it's the same thing. They take a stock frame and they trick this thing out, and it's all hand done. And these guys are, well-paid gunsmiths. And But see, here's the thing with that 1911. You don't have to go buy the $3,000 one unless you can afford it, or just be like me, put it on the credit card, right? But But the thing is, this is something that you can daily carry if you want to. This can be a range toy if you want it to be, and you can go hunting with it. I have, okay. But the thing is, this isn't necessarily somebody's first handgun or first gun at all. If you've already got some guns and you've been waiting around for it, looking at some of the higher end stuff, you might go, this isn't me to spend this sort of money. This isn't me to get one of these more notable brands. This is one that it's worth the wait, or it's worth doing the research, or it's worth going out and shooting a few of these, whether you got to rent them or you got some buddies or whatever, because once you get this in your collection, it's going to be one of your, okay, if you shoot it and you go, I just don't like these things, they're too heavy, I don't like the way they feel, whatever it is, the recoil, which I still haven't felt the recoil, but whatever, then it's not for you. Okay, walk away and go back to your Glock. But if you really got to have one of these things, or you've shot one before and you go, I want one of these for my collection, it's just something where you can take your time and get yourself something you're not going to be disappointed in.
Now, looking at the comments here, Stealth Hunter 1000 says, get a Rock Island FS that has upgrade features, sights, beaver tail, and so on. It can be had for around $500 new. Yeah, and you know what, Stealth Hunter, I was seriously thinking I wanted to go with the Rock Island, but here's the thing. I wanted the stainless finish, and I wanted the wooden grips. Now, Rock Island does offer a stainless finish 1911, and really the only reason why I didn't get a SIG is because if you want the stainless steel finish SIG, not the two-tone, but if you want a straight-up stainless finish SIG with wood grips on it, which I know grips can be changed, you had to buy the California compliant model, and I don't know if that was different from the regular SIG lineup. I think it has like a pop-up loaded chamber indicator and stuff. I don't want to mess with that, so that's what got me away from the SIG. So then I was looking at the Rock Islands, and the Ruger was just a little bit of a step up from the Rock Island in terms of price. It was like a $50 difference. When I found that Rock Island stainless, they were like $650, $600 or something like that. And I liked the brush finish a little bit better on the Ruger. I mean, I literally, guys, I'm not kidding you. I like day in and day out, I was looking at 1911s and looking at reviews and trying to figure out what caliber I wanted to go with. And then I don't know, just this one just kind of fit the bill for the perfect gun for me. But that's just that's pretty much why I went with the Ruger, because it was not a cheap gun. It was $700. Okay. And I mean, I wanted something nice. I feel like I've been working hard. I wanted a nice 1911, but at some point I'd like to get a Les Bear or maybe get a Nighthawk just to see what that experience is like, just to see if it's really worth it, but you also have to kind of appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into a gun at that price to understand the price itself. Defense Dad, do you have something you wanted to say there? Might have missed you.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I just got, well, the ones you're talking about, I just put something in the private chat. Are those the same ones that ATI imports?
The ATIs and the Rock Islands, I can't remember if they're both Filipino made. Do you guys know? I can't remember. We probably should have mentioned that before.
They're Filipino made, but because I've shot one, my buddy has one just for a bear, just that he doesn't care about. But you were asking about budget and deals. I just saw one at Sports and Warehouse for $349 for somebody. So if they're looking for a budget gun,
is that for an ATI or is that for a T-sauce?
That's for an ATI.
Okay, so I think the ATI is that polymer frame. It might be the polymer, because I know ATI is known for making a polymer frame 1911, whereas the Rock Islands, they might do a poly frame, but they're separate facilities. They're not. I think they might be owned by the same umbrella company, but I believe that they're separate companies. I probably should research this a little bit more, because I don't believe that ATIs and Rock Islands run off the same assembly line. You guys in the chat, let me know. Give me some details on the difference of ATI versus RA. They're both from the Philippines, but I think there were two different factories. Maybe one split off, and it's a separate production line. Nothing wrong with them. I think Night Strike's got an ATI. Where is Night Strike right now? He's supposed to be here. He's a 1911 guy.
So as far as 1911s manufactured in the Philippines, they've got decades and decades of experience manufacturing these things. It was a thing there back in the day. Now, I don't know if they're all coming out of the same plant or if maybe different employees or family members have split off and started up their own stuff. I've never shot a Filipino 1911, but I don't know that I would downplay it as a cheap import. Yes, labor is cheap in the Philippines and that sort of thing, but this isn't something they just started up last week. And at least the gunsmiths there, the people, because it's kind of like automotive. People hop from company to company, so they bring that experience with them. So I can't remember the details. I remember reading up on it in an American Rifleman article once, and I was really surprised that it goes way, way back as far as manufacturing there of 1911s. You were talking about you paid $700 for your SR 1911.
$679 delivered.
Yeah. Okay. So I paid $700 for mine. It was used, and you got a hard case on yours. Mine came with a soft case. How many mags did yours come with?
Two.
Okay. Mine came with 3 or 4. I think it came with 1 or 2 Ruger mags, and then the rest were Wilson Combats because the guy had bought Wilson Combats. At the time, $700 was, or they were running $770 at the local shop for just a Ruger with 1 or 2 mags. And I was like, wow, I'm making my money off these Wilson Combat mags, and then about a year later, that same Ruger, $600. Now they're back up to $700. I think that if you're in the market for one and it's in your price range, but you still feel like you're paying a little bit much, you can shop the sales, unless it's something, a real particular model, you can shop the sales, especially at the big box stores, and you might be able to get yourself a deal that way as well.
I was going to check Gun Dot deals real quick and just see. That's a good place to go if you guys are looking around for any firearms. I got mine off a gun broker, and it was a very, very good price for the time. Just last summer is when I picked it up. So I'm seeing, if you want the 45, I'm seeing $749 at Impact Guns, and then everything goes up from there. Obviously, prices are up right now. So you're looking at probably around $825. So yes, they have gone up just because of the demand. But yeah, at one point they were like you said, around. I saw this one. Mine was like $625 before taxes and shipping, FFL fee and stuff like that. So I mean, it was still a really good deal. And again, it depends on your region. Some guns just naturally have a closer to MSRP price. Others might be a little bit lower because there's more of a plethora of guns that are out there. But and do understand, once you go above and beyond, say, the $1,000 price point, there are some distinct differences. You start to see, again, the fit and finish is a little bit different. There might be some exclusive features that gun has to offer. There might be some upgraded sights. And that was another thing I liked about the SR 1911. You've got the dovetailed sights, which I believe the rear is adjustable, but mine basically shoots point of aim, so it's not an issue. And so that's something else. If you pick up a 1911, if you don't like the sights or don't like where it shoots and it's got machined in sights or fixed sights, you're kind of screwed. So that's something to remember too, that when you go up in the price point, you get a chance to go the other route. But yeah, nothing against ATI, Rock Island Armory. They're both great. kill me for saying this, but if you want to pick up a used Springfield 1911, they're very nice guns. I'm not a big fan of buying new guns from Springfield. I don't support Springfield Armory because of what they did to Illinois. But if you can get a good deal on a used one, and the damage has already been done with somebody that paid for it the first time, get yourself a used one. They're great. I tested, I think, an officer's model, or I can't remember, commander model. Very, very well built guns. The Tauruses are fine. Gary, you said you've had good luck with yours, and they've got like an officer and a commander model now. They've got new models that have come out also. But and then here's the other thing about the magazine. Squib, maybe you can chime in on this. You've just got to find the magazines that work well with your gun. Is it true that the magazine, there might be a magazine that runs great in your 1911, and there might be another brand that runs like garbage? Can you kind of speak to that, or is that just a big wide tale?
I've had that experience, and I can't put my finger on it because I put the extended slide release on my SR 1911 because the stock one is just too small. Well, there's only one company that I know that makes it, and that's Wilson. And I'm not too fond of Wilson guns, but I am fond of their accessories. And I had problems with some of my magazines not locking open on, or the slide not locking open on the last round with that Wilson extended slide release. So now I put the stock one back in there and they all work. And I'm going, what the heck? And I have trouble dropping the slide with that little slide release. And I talked to the guys at Wilson at NRAM last year, and they said, give us your information. And they sent me out a new slide release. And it's still in the box. It's been in the box for what, a year and 3 months, or no, because they sent it to me about 3 months afterward. They were so backed up with stuff. So about a year ago, it's still, and I was going to do a video where I unbox it and I put it in the gun and see if that makes a change. I don't think it will, but I never did make that video. But that's been my experience, and I don't understand what the slide release would have to do with the magazine. Something's got to be pushing on something, but I like it to lock open on the last round. I just do. If that's not an issue for you, then, I don't know about anything else. Now, if you've got a problem with older magazines, you can always swap out wolf springs, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that'll take care of some of your problems.
So I've only got the 2 standard magazines that came with the firearm, and then I've got the 2 +1 magazines that Ruger sells. And somebody said there's something with like having a dimple on the follower, or a dimple on the follower, that you have to have that if you want the SR 1911 to function properly. I don't remember what the deal is, but there's a little dimple on the top of the follower, and I don't know if that helps with feeding or whatnot. But the Ruger mags have been fine. They're expensive. I think I paid like $35 for my 8-round or 9-round magazines. It's the +1 mag that barely sticks out from the bottom. But the Ruger mags have been fine for me. I've never had a problem with them, but hopefully you have some good magazine compatibility across the board. So Defense Dad has found the good deal of the day. If you go over to Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the ATI Firepower 8+1 4.25-inch barrel blued pistol for $349, which is going to be pretty close to the Rock Island Armory just GI model. Actually, no, it's a 5-inch. This looks pretty good because you got a slightly shorter barrel, and it's got much better grips on it. And so the ATI Firepower for $349, that's a really good deal. And that, again, that's a Filipino-made gun. But ATIs, I don't really hear about a lot of issues with ATI firearms at all, except maybe some of their ARs. But the 1911s, man, again, they've been making them for quite a while. Rock Island's been making theirs for a long time, too. Let's talk ammunition real quick. I just want to show you some of the ammo that I've had some experience shooting through my SR 1911, just to show you what's out there. So this is Ruger ARX, and this was sent to me. I can't remember who sent it to me, and I apologize. Who sent this? I don't remember. But this is 114 grain that goes at 1350 feet per second and has 461 foot-pounds of energy. And this is a poly. It's a polymer bullet. And so this is pretty wicked stuff, the ARX. So anybody that says that the 1911 is, the 45 is an anemic round, if you want to step in front of one of these, feel free. But, you can get great plus P ammo that's going to do the job, right? So the ARX ammo I've tested, and it runs fine. It's got that weird propeller bullet, but it has no trouble with feeding issues in the SR 1911. I do currently keep Federal Syntech Defense in it. There we go. And this is a 205 grain. I don't remember the ballistics on it. I don't know if they put it on here. Let them put it on here. But this feeds great. This has like a blue poly-coated hollow point. You get one of these out here for you and show you. And it's a great ammo, and it's inexpensive. I think I paid for 20 rounds. I think I paid $14.99. There you go. and it's a fairly clean burning ammo. And so this is why I keep in it for self-defense. I don't have any critical defense in it or critical duty, but I mean, that's great ammo too. So this is your federal. There you go. Syntech. All right. And then for just range ammo, I think I had my best accuracy with Fiocchi. The Fiocchi ran great through it. This is just brass case, 230 grain. And I don't remember what I paid for boxes. It might have been $20. It's a little more expensive. Fiocchi's a couple bucks more per box. But this gave me the best accuracy out of all the ammo that I tested in it. And Kingpin, you pretty much sold me on that. I've got a ton of federal aluminum case. I bought that all up at Walmart before they got rid of their ammo. They had tons of the 45, and it was just sitting there. It was all on rollback as they were moving out their handgun ammo. And the Federal Champion aluminum case runs great. And obviously, you can't reload this, but it was pretty inexpensive, and I can't remember what I paid per box. I want to say it was like $11.98 for a box of 50, and I bought like 500 rounds of it. I got a couple of their like 200 round boxes, and this stuff works really good. So the aluminum case runs great. And then finally, I did run Remington UMC 230 grain full metal jacket, velocities 835 feet per second. This is a good range ammo too. So all these ran fine through my SR 1911 with no problems. Now I have not tried like a poly coated, or I haven't tried a polymer tip bullet like a critical defense. So I don't know if that's going to have feeding issues in your 1911, but you need to find the ammo that's going to work best for before you really invest in one particular brand. So try a couple different brands. And if you're going to keep your 1911 for self-defense, for God's sake, put maybe 25, 50 rounds minimum of your self-defense ammo through it to make sure it's going to function. Because the last thing you want is like a misfeed on the second round. And so make sure it's going to run whatever self-defense ammo you buy for it well. I mean, shoot through it whatever you can afford to shoot through, because self-defense ammo is not cheap. It's about $1 a round, but I'd rather spend $100 on self-defense ammo, make sure it's going to cycle properly, keep it at that, and feel confident if I ever need to use it. If it's my only gun, then no, it's not going to work at all. So
take $5 to $10, however much it costs, and buy a little bag of snap caps. Or I don't know what they're called, the little orange
dummy rounds.
Dummy rounds.
I call them snap caps. Yeah.
Yeah, I call them that too. Go ahead and buy. You can get. I think I spent $7 and got a pack of 5 or something like that. I can't remember. It's some gun show, and it really helps so you can dry fire and you can drop the slide without having to worry about messing anything up. And it's only a couple bucks, so it's definitely worth the investment to get some dummy rounds.
Definitely. And somebody had said earlier, the 200 round break-in, work the slide 200 times, run 200 snap caps through it, get the trigger broken in. I don't know if that's going to have the same impact as actually firing around through it, where you get the forces and the shock that's going to cause the parts to settle in, but it's also going to help that recoil spring a little bit. And also load your mags ahead of time. Make sure your mags are loaded before you go to the range, so those compression springs start to break in a little bit too. So you're going to have less feeding issues there too. So there's some things you can do. Obviously, make sure you follow proper cleaning and lubrication. I always take my guns apart and clean them before I go to the range, especially with this much metal on metal. After that first range trip, you're going to start to see where the wear marks are, so you're going to know where to put the proper amount of lubricant and stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you don't have a 1911, go out and get one. If you have one, go buy another one. and again, like we say, you should always have one in 45 ACP. That's just the American way. That's just how it is. It's the 4th of July, and I'm feeling patriotic. You got to have a 1911 45. But again, if you're somebody that likes the platform, but you want to save a little money, get one in 9mm. If you want to play around with something different, go for 38 Super, or get yourself a 10mm if you want true takedown power. So yeah, you've got a lot of options out there if you go that route. So guys, unfortunately, I have to go ahead and call it. I've got family obligations this morning. I got someplace I need to be at 9:30. Got a project we're working on today, and we want to get it done by dinner time. So we're going to go and let this one go. I want to thank you guys for watching. Happy Independence Day. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Let's let everybody here in the panel go ahead and give us their plugs, and then we'll go ahead and close this one out. So Kingpin, we will start with you, man.
Happy Independence Day, everybody. And love the ones that you love, and find some new people and love them too.
There you go. Right on, man. Right on. Okay. And you know what? I just closed out the tab. I hope I just didn't end the stream. This could be bad. This could be a problem. But okay, moving on. And Defense Dad, anything you want to say before we go?
Just happy Independence Day.
Right on, man. Right on. Cool. I think I closed out the chat. We'll let you guys finish it. Squib, anything you want to say before we go?
Just thanks for the invite. Good subject, and catch you on the next one.
Right on, man. Right on. Cool. And Gizzard Gary, anything you would say before we head out, man?
Hey, thanks for the link. Everybody be safe today on your journeys. Happy Independence Day. Happy birthday, America.
Cool. Okay. Pat Hirsch, anything you want to say? Any words of wisdom before we head out?
Just wanted to say thanks for having me on. Pleasure as always. And got to learn a little bit about America's gun. Haven't really gone in depth or had anybody talk about it that much, I guess. So learned a lot today on this particular handgun. And we're definitely going to have to get together and shoot sometime for sure.
I'll get a hold of you. I got a couple weeks here before I got any kind of obligation, so we'll make it work. Okay. I'm cool driving out. All right, man. Sounds good. All right. And watching today, we got Keith Gregory out there, Sam of Anarchy 92, Philo's in the house, Kingpin's out there and over here. Blue Steel 44 says freedom. Right on, man. Votsify's out there, Agorizer, Vandalistica's going on. Happy 4th, everyone. Stay safe and have fun. Vandal, we will do that, man. G23's out there, Marco Dunn, Jason Stewart, Stealth Hunter 1000, Gun Love and Grandpa's watching today. Tacos and French fries, always in the house. Justin Gibbons, Ohio 45 ACP, Ohio 45 ACP. This is today's episode just for you. What else? Philo's out there. And saw a few other people out there. Mr. Guns maybe was out there. Ozzy Osbourne's out there too this morning. Jason Stewart, Kinky Sphincter's out there today. And I think that's pretty much it. So I am Travis P11. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And you can check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Shout out to SS Pond for sponsoring today's episode. Check them out in Lexington, Nebraska. Otherwise, guys, that's about it. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. Let freedom ring today. And we will talk to you soon. Hopefully next Saturday. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alicia.
Stay safe. Carry your weapon.
Adios, Alicia. Alicia, place on ground, light fuse, and get away.
Give him the bird.
Give him the bird. Both of them.